Hi everybody. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the movies that I saw at home in the month of April. There aren't that many because I was traveling and I just did a video where I talked about Exodus, Gods, and Kings, which I didn't care for. So that would be another. These are all new movies to me. They're not necessarily new DVD releases. This movie that I saw at home in April is called The Good Lie. And I really loved it. I got it on Blu-ray. I liked it so much. It's the story about the Lost Boys of Sudan. It tells the story of 4 of them, plus a sister. And I really responded well to it because I actually worked with the Lost Boys of Sudan when I was in college. And I helped them for about a year trying to find jobs and trying to learn the computer. And they were so amazing. They were such... they were refugees from Sudan. They walked all the way to Ethiopia and then to Kenya. These were Christians. The Lost Boys of Sudan were all Christians because it was a war versus Christians versus the Muslims. And they had such faith and they were so positive. My teacher at the time described them as the refutation of Lord of the Flies, and that was totally true. They were so positive, they were so optimistic, and that was just an amazing thing with all that they had been through. I can't even imagine all that they had been through, and yet they were so positive, and what they did, and the jobs that they got, and the training that they got in a very short period of time was inspiring. And I thought this movie really captured all of that. There were so many moments. Like there's a scene where one of the boys hears the bark of a dog, and he is afraid that he asks, "Is that a lion?" And that actually happened to a friend of mine when she was out with the Lost Boys, that they had asked her if there were lions in the park because their friends had died. And that's just really moving to me. I don't know. So it was a little bit nostalgic for me because I had those memories, but it was still just genuinely a good movie. Reese Witherspoon plays kind of their caregiver who's there to kind of help them get jobs and things like that. And she's a little bit cynical, but I thought she was a pretty well-rounded character. She's a side character. She's not the lead character in the movie. The African actors, I think, do a good job. I thought they were very good, and it was just a moving story. It was very inspirational, and I liked it. So definitely, I think it's one that kind of got missed and hidden. So go check it out. I think you'll really like it. This movie I saw at home was the final movie in the Hobbit series. The Hobbit, the Battle of the Five Armies. I'm not sure what the 5 armies are, so if you know, I only counted 4, but I didn't care for this movie very much, and I don't understand why everybody loves the second movie. I think this is better than the second movie, which I thought dragged on forever. I mean, it takes 2 hours to meet Smaug, and then once they did, it finally started to get good. But this one I thought was better than the second one because you have a little bit more story as far as Thorin and him kind of being tempted by the money and by power, and what's he going to do. And I thought that was good. I thought, the Orlando Bloom, it was kind of, there were a lot of sort of, people say fan service, but I thought they were fun sort of moments of him and as Legolas, and I liked that, and I thought there were sort of lots of winks to the original trilogy, to the Lord of the Rings movies. That was fun as a fan to see. I liked, the Gandalf scenes. There weren't as many silly, stupid scenes like the weird rafting and barrels scene in the second one, which I thought was, are we at like Universal Studios Park? Like, I don't know. I don't see why everyone likes that one the most. If you like it the most, explain to me why in the comments section. But the third one, I thought was still kind of slow, and you can just tell they've stretched this book, which, like, the original The Hobbit book was one that it's honestly not my favorite. To me, it's a hard book to finish because it's really just a series of short stories, and it doesn't have the weight of The Lord of the Rings, where the Lord of the Rings, you're dealing with good versus evil and the power of the ring, and it's just so much more important than sort of this story of the Hobbit and his adventures. So for me, like, stretching it out to 3 books was a huge mistake, even though I don't think they were terrible. They were not my favorite. So this movie that I actually loved, that I would love for you guys to check out. You know, I'm a big romantic comedy fan. I did a defense of the romantic comedy on this channel, and there is a movie that nobody saw. I never even heard of it until it appeared on Vudu as a 99-cent rental, and then it was also available on my plane ride as a free rental, and it was called Rewrite. And this movie stars Hugh Grant and Marissa Tomei, and it felt like Nora Ephron was back, even though she's passed on. It just had her feeling of really funny writing about movies and life and writing, and because Hugh Grant plays this man who's this Oscar-winning screenwriter, but now he's kind of fallen on hard times, and so he takes this job as this professor, as this teacher at the school in this small town, and it has like a great cast. It's got J.K. Simmons, it has Allison Janney in it, it's got Chris Elliott in it, who's very good. I liked it. There's a lot of, like I said, commentary. There's some really funny scenes between Allison Janney as sort of this English professor who loves Jane Austen, and the Hugh Grant, who was in a Jane Austen movie, and so I thought there was a lot of sort of funny sequences involving that, and the writing was just, I laughed so much, and it was just these people that I liked, and I liked seeing them interact, and it was just reminded me of Nora Ephron movies like You've Got Mail, which I love, and so I was so in heaven with this movie. I loved it. And so I just go see it. If you like intelligent romantic comedies with likable characters, with good dialogue and a good story, go see or go rent whatever, The Rewrite. I think you'll really enjoy it. I loved it. I thought it was great. The next movie that I saw was the Tim Burton film, Big Eyes. It is no secret that I am not a Tim Burton fan. I fell off that train a long time ago. I really feel like he hasn't made a good movie since Corpse Bride. And if you're talking non-animated, I haven't responded well to a movie of his since Ed Wood. And there's some movies of his that I have not seen, but I hate his Alice in Wonderland. I think they totally missed the boat as far as the nonsense, which is the important part of the story, which makes it unique. I really hate it. I think it's awful. I didn't like Dark Shadows. I'm trying to think, what else did he make? I'm just so bored with his style. I hated his Willy Wonka and Charlie and Chocolate Factory, with the white makeup, with Johnny Depp. And so I'm excited about this movie because I'm excited that he did something different. Like, this is a real story. This is about real people. And it's a well-made movie, and it's so close to being good. It's not terrible. It's not like Alice in Wonderland terrible, but it could have been so much better. Like I said, it's just so close to being good. But the problem is Christoph Waltz, who normally is so good, but he's terrible in this. He overacts in every scene. It's too much. It looks like bad dinner theater. I'm sorry, but it's true. Every scene, he's just too much for this story. And maybe in like a Tarantino film, I haven't seen his Tarantino films, but those films are very sort of campy and very big and stylized and whatever, at least so I'm told. And so maybe that works for that kind of thing, but this just felt so like it wasn't a person. Like, none of it felt like this is a real person who actually could talk this way, who could behave this way. It felt like somebody that was in a bad play. It really was bad. And he's supposed to play this man, Walter Keane, who is a sociopath, basically, who lies and it convinces his wife, who is a very timid, meek person, to take the credit for her art, doing these Big Eyes paintings, which became very popular. And he's like a good salesman, so part of he is right in a way that like her paintings probably wouldn't have if it was just up to him, but he takes credit that it's his paintings. And so you I don't know, it's just a big problem that he's so bad. It kills me because it's a good story. It's a really interesting true story, and I thought the legal battle was really well paced. It's not until the end, but even that, he's so over the top. He ends up being his own attorney, and it becomes a joke. It's really not anything that even in the world of sort of an over the top story that it just didn't work. It's supposed to be a true story. So it kills me because, like I said, it had so many good elements, and I'm so happy to see Tim Burton doing something about real people. Back to like Ed Wood, and it's actually by the same writers and team of Ed Wood. And so, yay, Tim Burton, keep going along that path. And I thought Amy Adams was good. I thought her character was kind of inconsistent. Like, it starts out the story with her doing this bold thing, like she's leaving her husband, and not many people in the 1950s did that. You know, it says that. That's the narration. But then she's so timid the whole rest of the movie that it's kind of like, what's going on? There's definitely some really uncomfortable moments where he becomes abusive, and he's just, like I said, he's just sort of the sociopath that like can't not lie all the time. And but he's just so ridiculous that it just didn't feel like a believable character to me. So unfortunately, I can't recommend it, although it's not terrible, and yay for Tim Burton going in a different direction. That's it. That is the movies I saw at home in April. So let me know what you thought, and please subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you later.